Good day. This is the continuation of our report. Relationship among constructs. Kelly's third corollary, the organization corollary, emphasizes relationship among constructs and states that people, characteristically involve for their convenience and anticipating events in a constructions system embracing ordinal relationship between constructs. The first two corollaries assume similarities among events and differences among people. The third emphasizes the different people organize similar event in a manner that minimizes incompatibilities and inconsistency. For example, Arlen probably construed intelligence and health as a good and stupidity and illness as bad. Furthermore, Arlen's views of independence and dependence, like her contracts of good and bad, would have had a multitude of subordinate constructs. In this situation, Arlen construed staying in a school as independence and living with her parents as dependents in order to remain in school and continue her job. Arlene needed transportation. These show that organization corollary is connected with relationship, and there is a system that embrace relationship in their constructs. The example tells us that if someone is knowledgeable and intelligent, they automatically know their responsibility, and also she is independent in making decisions. Dichotomy of constructs. Kelly extended that a construct is an either or proposition, black or white, with no shades of gray. In nature, this may not be either or but natural events have no meaning another than those attributed to them by an individual's personal construct system. In order to form a construct, people must be able to see similarities between events, but they must also construct those events with their opposite pole. How are intelligence and independence alike? Their common elements has no meaning within constructing it to opposite. Intelligence and independence have no overlapping elements when compared to hammer or a chocolate bar. By constructing intelligence with stupidity and independence with dependence, you see how they are alike and how they can be organized under the construct, good as opposed to bad. Dichotomy of construct show how intelligence and independence connect. It means that if you are intelligent, then you know what good from bad and you are aware of these things. Choose between dichotomies. This corollary assumes much of what is Kelly's basic postulate, and in the preceding corollaries, people make a choices on the basis of how they anticipate events, and those choices are between dichotomous alternatives and additions. The choice corollary assumes that people choose those actions that are most likely to extend their future range of choices. Example of this is how people respond on uncertain events. They are deciding wisely for the good or their future. Every decision is related with their future goals. Range of convenience. The construct independence was within Arlene's range of convenience when she was deciding to buy a car but on another occasion, independence would be outside those boundaries. Independence carries with it the notions of dependence. The range corollary allow Kelly to distinguish between a concept and a construct. A concept includes all elements having a common property, and it includes those that do not have that property. The conceptual includes all those people and objects having extended height and exclude all other concepts, even those that are outside its range of convenience. Therefore, fast or independence or dark are also excluded from the conceptual because they do not have extended height, but such exclusion are both endless and needless. Range of convenience describe of our decision in wanting to own something, but we are the first thinking that independence that it carries in end effects of our choices. Experience and learning. Basic to personal construct theory is anticipation of events. We look future and make guesses about what will happen. Then, as event become revealed to us, we either validate our existing construct or restructure their event to match our experience. Experience consists of successive construing and of event. The events themselves do not constitute experience, it is the meaning we attach of them, the changes of our lives. Experiencing and learning is alike imagining about our future, and probably guessing what will happen next. We base on the imagination or either make our own choices because that is how we believe. Adoption or to experience. These corollaries follow from and expand the experience corollary. It's assumed that extent to which people revise their constructs and related to the degree of permeability of their existing construct. A construct do not admit new elements. If a man believes that women are inferior to men, then contradictory evidence will not find its way into his range of convenience. Instead, he will attribute that achievements of women to lack or unfair social advantage. A change is event means a change is contracts only if those contracts are permeable. Adoption to experience show how our belief based on what we know. Men often think that they are superior than women, but the evidence contradict in this matter. Incompatible constructs. Although Kelly assumed on overall stability and consistency of person, construction system, his fragmentation corollary allow for the incompatibility of specific elements. A person may successive employ a variety of constructive subsystems which are inferentially incompatible with each other. At first, it may seem as a person's construct must be compatible, but if we look to our own behavior and thinking, we can easily see more inconsistencies. In Chapter 18, we pointed out the Walter Mises and student of Kelly believe that behavior is usually more inconsistent than trait theorists would have us believe. Superordinate system may also change, but those changes take place within a still larger system. In a previous example of the productive husband, instead, the man's love for his wife may gradually shift to hatred, but the change remain within a largest construct of life interest. This tells us that if how we look in our own behavior and thinking, then we can understand its consequences. A behavior is really rich and consistent than traits and itself. Similarities among people. Two people need to experience the same event of even similar for their processes. To be psychologically similar, they must merely construe their experiences in similar fashion, because people actively construe events by asking questions, forming hypotheses, drawing conclusion, and then asking more questions. Different people within widely different experiences may construe events in every similar way. Although people of different background have similar construct, people with similar experiences are more likely to construe event along similar lines within a given social group. People may employ similar constructions, but it always that individual, never society, who construe event. There are a lot of people who experience similar event, and they are more likely to believe on same things. There are always people that believe it a similar contract, but it still depends on people on how they control event. Social processes. People do not communicate with one another simply on the basic common experience or even similar construction. They communicate because they construe the construction of one another and interpersonal relationship. They not only observe the behavior of the another person, they also interpret that the behavior means the person. Kelly introduced the notion of rule with his sociality corollary. A rule refers to a pattern of behavior that results from a person's understanding of construct of another with whom that person is engaged in a task. Kelly construed rules from psychological rather than a psychological perspective. One rule does not depend on one place or positions in social settings, but rather on how one interprets that rule. Kelly also stressed that the points that one's constructions of a rule need not be accurate in order for a person to make place that rule. Social process describe how Kelly believed on sociality ordinary. A certain behavior is the result of a person's experience and how they interpret the rule he did. Application of personal contract theory. Like most personality theories, Kelly involved his theoretical formations from her practice as psychotherapist. He spent more than 20 years contracting therapy before he published the psychological of person construct in 1955 in a section. We look at this view of abnormal development, his approach to psychotherapy, and finally he ruled construct repertory rip test. Abnormal development. In Kelly view, psychological healthy people validate their personal construct against their experience with the real world. There are like competent scientists who test reasonable hypotheses, accept the result within denial or distortions, and then willingly alter their theories to match available data. Healthy individuals not only anticipate events but are also able to make satisfactory adjustment when things do not turn out as they expected. Unhealthy people, on the other hand, stubbornly link outdated personal construct, inferring validations of and new construct that would upset their present comfortable view of the world. Psychological disorder, therefore, also exist the present. They are caused neither by childhood experience nor by future event, because construction systems are personally objective to traditional clarification of abnormali- abnormalities. Psychological unhealthy people, like everyone else, possess a complex construction system. Their personal constructs, however, often fail the test of permeability in one of two ways. They may be too impermeable or they may be too flexible. In the first instant, new experiences do not penetrate the construction system so that the person fails to adjust the real world. For example, an abused child may construe intimacy with parents as a bad and solitude as a good. Psychological disorder result when the child construction system rigidly denies the value of any intimate relationship and that clings to the notions that neither withdrawal or attack is a preferred mode of solving interpersonal problem. There are really unhealthy people when it's late in development and they are outdated in the personal construct. They are afraid and upset in the present in the world. Thank you for watching.